Hi, how you doing? It's Matt here. I've been away for a while, been quite busy, had COVID, been on night shifts, been on holiday and things, so I've been a bit tied up over the past couple of months. But I thought it was about time to kind of get my act together and make another video. So I thought in this one, what I'll do is a little bit different. So I was going through my collection and I thought it was quite interesting to pick out a few albums where kind of progressive rock kind of meets psychedelic rock and the two kind of cross over. Kind of late 60s, kind of early 70s albums and ones that I really enjoy. I think are really, really good. Some of them aren't that well known, but some of them, they're kind of known in the VC, but some pretty good albums altogether. So I just thought I'd pick five albums and I'd talk about them just quickly. Okay, starting with my first one then. This is Spirit's album, Clear. This was released in 1969. This is a really good album. A lot of people have gone about to kind of 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus as being, their big one, which I think I really enjoy, but this one has always been an interesting one for me. It's very mixed. It's kind of psychedelic prog, kind of medley. It's pretty cool. It's got some really really cool tracks on here. It's kind of jazzy kind of feel with the track On Ice and the title track Clear, which is such a mixed bag. Some really really good guitar work from Randy California. It's a really good guitar solo on Cold Wind, and on the track Give a Life Take a Life there's some really really cool kind of experimental kind of pieces on it. It's really really good. But all in all, I think this is a great album. A little bit of a mixed bag, kind of a nice kind of psych prog kind of combo, I think. This is actually a reissue on clear vinyl. I actually did have an early pressing of this, but I think it was really badly scratched, and I don't really. It just didn't play very well. But I'm on the hunt for a kind of an early reissue. This doesn't sound fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I do really want to kind of reissue this, but great album, definitely worth picking up. Okay, so for my next one, I'm going with Mighty Baby. This is a very interesting record. This is mainly, I'd say, a psychedelic album. This is the self-titled debut that was released in 1969. But there's some really strong kind of progressive moments on this, and I did a bit of reading around this album. It is kind of recognised as a bit of a medley between the psych and the prog genres. This is really cool. The opening track, Egyptian Tombs, got this kind of really mellow, really engaging kind of rhythm. Really good opener to the album, and the next track called A Friend You Know and Never See. It's got some really cool guitar riffs and some really good guitar work all the way through this album. The guitarist is called Martin Stone, I believe. But there's some really cool proggy moments in it as well. I think there was the organ player, Ian Whiteman, I think his name was. Just some fantastic arrangements. Brilliant album altogether. This is the first UK pressing. This is what I got. I've actually bought this down in London a few years ago. These are really hard to come by now. I think they've really gone up in price. But this is a stunning record, and I think they've done a few really good reissues as well. I think they've done one just recently, and from what I've heard, it's supposed to sound really really good. So definitely worth picking up. So for my next one, then I'm going with Jody Grind's Far Canal. This is a great album. This was released in 1970. And it's got, I suppose it's probably more progressive, but it's got some very kind of really strong, kind of cool psychedelic elements going alongside that as well. I really enjoy the guitar work on here. The guitarist Bernie Holland, just some amazing, really long extended guitar segments, and they're just brilliant. I think one of the highlights of it is probably the song Plastic Shit. It's just, he just kind of rips this kind of really cool riffs, kind of pulls it backwards and forwards in this kind of really hard rock style. It's really, really cool. There's also some really nice extended pieces, one in particular, which is, I think, one of the main tracks on here, Red Worms and Lice. Just sounds amazing, kind of progressive, but also very kind of up and down, psychedelic as well. The album opens with this kind of like a nice acoustic guitar, which kind of develops into the first track, and then followed by that there's a track Bath Sister, which is just some amazing kind of guitar work and some organ work kind of combined. Feels very proggy as well. But this is a fantastic album. It's not all that well known. But it is good. This is actually a reissue on Music on Vinyl. I think it was 2017 it was released. I think I bought it. I'd love to get an original copy, but they're really hard to come by. But it is on my wants list. It's one that I really would like to get if I could. But yeah, Jody Grindfall Canal, excellent album, definitely worth getting. So for my next one, this album is fantastic, really, really, really cool. It took me, I'd say it took me a bit of time to get into it because I did enjoy it when I first heard it, but the more I listened to it, the more I enjoyed it. This is a bit of a hidden masterpiece. It's becoming, I suppose, a little more well known nowadays, but the 666 by Aphrodite's Child, released in 1972. This is a killer record. The leader of the band, Vangelis, sadly passed away just recently as well. It's important to note that. He was just an amazing composer, amazing musician. Now, Aphrodite's Child were a Greek band originally, but they, led by Vangelis, who was the the main orchestrator of the band at the time. They moved to Paris, I think, and I think they made this in 1970. It wasn't released until 1972. So it kind of sounds a bit, I'd say, behind the times for 1972, maybe. Some people might disagree with that, I'm not sure, but maybe a little bit kind of more 60s, but it's just fantastic. I think the killer track on here that, you know, I really enjoy, and I've heard a couple of people do as well, is the Four Horsemen. Just fantastic, fantastic work on that. I just love how it kind of builds up and you reach this kind of quiescent period and then it just bangs back in again with the drums. It's just fantastic, just phenomenal. It's quite a long album. It's quite a 2 LP concept album about the Book of Revelations, quite a biblical theme to it, but very experimental in parts. I think the second disc, side C and D, is quite interesting. I think it takes you a little bit of time to get into it, but I think it's really enjoyable. It's not what you want to play too loud in your apartment or at home. You know, the neighbours might be wondering what's going on some of the tracks, but it is a great, great killer record. Very powerful. The drumming by Lucas Sideris is just absolutely killer. The guitarist as well, I think his name's Argyris Koulanaris. I can't pronounce that. I'm probably butchering that. I apologise. Yeah, Aphrodite's Child 666. Just brilliant. Anyone who has the intelligence may interpret the number of the beast. It is a man's number. The number is 666. So then, for my next one, I'm going to go with Charisma, Beasts and Fiends, released in 1970. This is a great album. This is first feels like a more funky kind of thing, but it's definitely psychedelic, and just with the way, you know, a lot of the instruments and a lot of the arrangements come together, it does have a kind of progressive feel to it. I think there's definitely some very strong psychedelic elements on the track Biswambi Ritual, Dance of the Reptiles, and on the title track as well. While some of the tracks like Street Theatre and Age of the Reptiles, which, you know, has a lot, let's say, a more proggy side to it. Yeah, Charisma, I think they originally were a band called the Mantiques. I think they were a kind of progressive band called the Mantiques, and they had a bit of a falling out with the management, I think. Anyway, I think they released 1 or 2 albums, but I think they made very little profit from this release. But this is a great album. This is their first US pressing. This is an original. I don't think they did a reissue. I think there is a reissue of this one, but it's a shame because it's such a great album. They probably need to pull the fingers out and do a reissue of this one because it's pretty cool. A lot to be discovered on here. Highly recommended. Killer record. Definitely worth picking up. A lot to be explored on this. Okay, so that's all 5 albums there. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it a little bit interesting or informative. If you want to like, subscribe, etc., that'd be cool. I'm hoping to do a few more videos now. I've been away for a while, so it's been a bit busy. But I think now I've probably got a bit more time on my hands, so I will be doing a few more videos soon. But thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.